All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Andrew Wolfe, and today we're talking about Boulder, Colorado. And specifically, we're going to be talking about, is Boulder worth it if you're not an outdoorsy person? So we spend a lot of time on this channel talking about how gorgeous Boulder is and how it's so strongly connected to nature, but also specifically all the outdoor activities that you can do, from hiking, biking, skiing in the wintertime, paddleboarding in the summertime. And we've really beat that drum quite a bit because it's all true, right? Boulder has great access, a ton of great outdoor activities, and it's also a big part of the culture here. But I don't want you to feel like that, if you're not an outdoorsy person, Boulder's going to be totally cut off from you and you're not going to value living here. I would say the biggest thing that attracts people to Boulder is just the overall way of life here, right? It's got a little slower pace than you're going to see in the big city. It's got a really big commitment to work-life balance, and it's just going to have a more peaceful way about it than you might experience in a larger city that has similar services or similar opportunities from an economic perspective. The city feels very clean, it's very well maintained, and that's going to be partly due to some of the programs around trash and composting and cleanliness the city and the county have, but also just the culture of the city is very committed to maintaining the natural beauty around Boulder. So people clean up after themselves, people put stuff in trash cans, people put stuff in recycling bins. You're not going to see the same level of disarray that you might see in a larger city because there's not as many people, So the whole commitment of the city culture to maintain the beauty around Boulder and maintaining the close-knit community that we experience here is really hard to get away from, whether you're outdoorsy or not. A big way that people take advantage of Boulder without having to be outdoors really is going to be to go down to Pearl Street downtown. Now, obviously it's a walking mall, so you are outside, but it's, feels relatively urban, and the experience you get there is not unlike you might get in a larger city, right? So you're going to have great bars, great restaurants, cultural events around like the Boulder Theater, for instance, are really, really awesome. You're going to see great speakers, great musicians, people taking great stage shows there. You're even going to see buskers like you might see in very large cities, right? People, magicians and street musicians and jugglers and anything you can imagine is going to be taking place right there in Boulder. It's a really, really great cultural mecca for full-time residents as well as visitors. Love to experience Pearl Street. So if you are a person who likes to take advantage of that more urban feel, but likes the slower, more peaceful way of life that Boulder is going to offer, Pearl Street's a great place to be. And again, kind of speaking about the culture around Boulder that really attracts people, whether they're new residents or people who have been here for a long time, just a strong sense of community that you're going to feel here as being a part of the city. Something that I personally haven't experienced in larger towns or larger cities. Boulder has a unique way of having all the services and a lot of things you experience in a large city, but because it's a smaller footprint, because the number of residents are a little bit smaller, you're going to feel much more connected to the city itself, right? So Boulder has its own identity, its own really great way of operating, committed to things like peace of mind, wholeness, wellness, work-life balance. It's going to be hard to recapture. So if you're into that slower pace of life, you're into that more peaceful, more balanced approach to living, but you still like to have access to, some larger things you might see in the bigger city, Boulder's a great fit, again, irrespective of your willingness to do outdoor stuff. And kind of living in Boulder for a time, many residents who don't consider themselves outdoors people do find that they enjoy being near nature, if nothing else. We talked about kind of floating down Pearl Street and sitting at a rooftop bar, being able to soak in just kind of the beautiful snow caps right now that we're going to see at the Flatiron. So we had a little mini snowstorm yesterday, so it's a really beautiful time. But today is 80 degrees and sunny, and the snow's all gone, but you can still see it on the mountains. Being able to see the green, lush trees, be able to take in Wonderland Lake, all from the comfort of your own backyard, from a patio, from a great little pub that you like. There's a great place to spend time near outdoors without having to be involved in it, but it's not your thing, and it's really hard to argue with the beauty of Boulder, even if you're not into, climbing mountains every day. The community itself is really full of highly educated, motivated, entrepreneurial people. So if you're a person who likes to be on the cusp and build something, it's a great place. One of the, target communities for a lot of business startups out there choose Boulder, Colorado for the culture. So if you're a person who likes to start something new and build something with other people, obviously all of us here get to build our community, but from a business perspective, you have to be a part of a startup. It's a great place to start for that as well. So if that's the kind of community you're seeking out, Boulder's a great place to be. So long story short, guys, Boulder's sunshine, the culture, the scenery you're going to experience here are drop dead gorgeous. It's hard to argue with the beauty, and I won't pretend that's not a big attraction when people come here. But you don't need to be a hiker, a biker, a skier, a mountain climber, a boogie boarder, or a paddleboarder to enjoy Boulder, Colorado. Now, I will say a lot of folks end up naturally finding little more ways to connect with their outdoors throughout their time here, right? It's hard to argue that it's really easy to access, and there's really easy transitions from, a person who's not really into the outdoors to someone who might want to go, stroll around Chautauqua State Park or, do some nice peaceful fly fishing, but you don't need to. I would say overall, if you're going to fit in with the culture of Boulder, if you're a person who likes that little easygoing pace of life, you'll have to have access to great arts and be able to see the outdoors and be able to head into Denver if you want something a little busier. Boulder is going to be a great fit. So you don't need to be an outdoors person to enjoy it here. It does help, but hey, if you're a good fit for the culture, you're good for culture. keep your snowshoes inside. Again, this is Andrew Wolfe. I love talking about Boulder. I love connecting and making these videos for you guys, but I love even more connecting one-on-one. So if you want to hear some more stories or if you have more questions about Boulder, go ahead and drop a comment here. I'd love to make a video for you guys and answer whatever questions you have. Or if you want to connect one-on-one, give me a call, text, whatever works for you. Have you guys a great day. See you guys next time.